Let's go ahead and have a seat so we can kind of center in. And we'll just get all tuned in to everything we're feeling in our bodies. So finding that straight, aligned, comfortable, steady seat. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And a big exhale through your mouth. Just take a moment to settle in. And so notice where your attention is drawn to first in your body and acknowledge that. And then seek out the other places in your body that did not clamor for your attention right off the bat. Start to deepen your breath. Slow it down if you can. Ujjayi breathing is preferable. Coming into awareness of thoughts and emotions you might be feeling, your energy, and even how connected you feel. And then let's bring palms together in front of the heart and we'll set our intention for our practice this morning. As you're clear on your intention, take another deep inhale. Exhale through your mouth. And we'll come back to that nice, deep, slow Ujjayi nose breathing. And we're going to go straight into downward facing dog. So go ahead and do any little movements that you need to get your body ready for practice. Down dog is kind of a nice place to start because you might notice things here that you didn't notice when you were in your seated position. So just take another breath or two to tune into yourself here. And then you can just slowly walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent as you arrive at the front of your mat and relax the neck completely, taking a few breaths in ragdoll. On your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, stretch up. And as you exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Feel yourself coming into a nice, steady, aligned Shavasana, mountain pose. So the standing equivalent of our steady, comfortable seat, right? We want our spines aligned. We want to feel rooted and stable. And then inhale, reach the arms up, stretch up and maybe even back a little bit. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward, relaxing the neck. Inhaling, lifting up halfway, chest pulling forward, exhaling all the way back down. We're going to step back with our left foot. So we have a right foot forward lunge. Hold your lunge for a moment. And then just a little warm up with the legs and hips. Left knee drops down. We're going to go ahead and place our right hand on the inside of the right knee. Hips shift forward slightly. We roll onto the outside edge of the right foot. Press gently on that right inner thigh or knee. Just kind of waking up the right hip. So you might feel it in your right inner thigh. Most likely you'll feel it in the right outer hip. And then we just bring the right hand down outside the right foot, fully extend the right leg, flex your ankle and toes. See if you can gaze forward. So we're trying to get into the right hamstring. That's the back of your right thigh. If your ankle and toes are sharply flexed enough, you might feel this in your right calf. And then we're going to bend the right knee and bring the arms up and overhead. Tuck the tailbone under, lift the chest. Hips shift forward so that we start to feel something on the front of that left thigh, left hip. Now, if you really want to feel it fully in the hip flexor, you have to tilt your pelvis back. You can think of that as tightening the muscles at the base of your left butt. If it feels okay in your body, bring your palms together. Gentle prayer twist to your right. So your left elbow hooks outside that right near thigh, and then you press into your palms and lift your torso up as you look over your right shoulder. Hands come down to the mat. We're going to step back to plank position. Hold your plank for a moment so that your core is engaged. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and lower yourself all the way down to your mat, however you would like to get there. Let your big toes touch each other, heels drop open. Extend your arms out in front of you so that your elbows are either underneath your shoulders or perhaps even farther forward for Sphinx. So we'll pull the shoulders down the back and pull the heart forward. So you're actually literally pulling with your forearms and you're keeping your lower body totally relaxed. And then on your next exhale, just press into downward facing dog. Take a big step forward with your left foot. We'll just hold this lunge for a moment. And doing like we did on the other side, just kind of warming up hips and legs a little bit. So we're going to drop the right knee down. Literally put your left hand on the inside of the left knee. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot first. Let your hips sink forward. And then gently apply pressure to the inside of that left knee. Just enough to get some sensation in that left outer hip. You might feel it in the inner thigh. Keep it gentle. This is just part of the warm-up. It's pretty early in the practice, so don't go for broke yet. Let's go ahead and extend the left leg. If you can, your left ankle and toes dorsiflex, your left knee straightens, your heart pulls forward. And then from here, we bend the left knee, bring the arms up and overhead. Remember, tilt your pelvis back as you sink your hips forward to find that stretch on the front of your right hip and thigh. Palms together in front of the heart, right elbow outside, left knee or thigh, palms strongly pressing together so that your torso can lift up and away from your left thigh as you look over your left shoulder. Hands come down to the mat on either side of your left foot, and you're going to step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale as you reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale as you bring your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. This time, step back with your right foot. To that left foot forward lunge. If you're able, I'd like you to plant your right hand nice and firm. Both feet are going to rotate a full 90 degrees to the left. So you're on the outside edge of your right foot. You have to keep your right leg very straight. Left toes are pointing to the left. You're going to allow the hips to sink a little bit. So your left hand can reach for the ceiling. Or if you like, you can kind of reach around in front of your left shin and get a little more torque. Where I'm hoping you're feeling this is that left outer hip. Take another breath or two here. Rotate all the way back around. You're in your lunge again. Gaze forward and begin to straighten your left leg. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. We're just working a little deeper with everything we did through our first round. Bend the left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Remember, you have to tilt the pelvis back and allow the hips to sink if you want to feel it on the front of the right hip. And then we're going to go ahead and bring palms together and do our prayer twist to the left. Right elbow outside left knee or thigh. Try and get those prayer hands towards the center of your heart so you're not collapsing in your right shoulder. Hands on either side of the left foot, step back to plank position. So we'll just flow through vinyasas. Remember, you may modify by dropping knees or doing anything you need to do, but I'd like you to be really breath-centered and mindful this morning. So just a reminder, when you are in your plank, this kind of upper push-up position, this is your inhale. If you do Chaturanga Dandasana or however you lower down, that's your exhale. When you rise up into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog, that's your inhale. And when you flow into your Downward Facing Dog, that's your exhale. Right foot steps forward. If you can, keep that left hand firmly planted. We're going to take both feet a full 90 degrees to the right. And either right hand reaches for the ceiling or it reaches around in front of the shin. Remember, we're looking for sensation in the right outer hip. Rotate both feet back to the center, gaze forward, begin to straighten your right leg. Remember, it's fine if the leg doesn't straighten. We're just looking for sensation. And then we're gonna bend the right knee, bring the arms up and overhead, tilt that pelvis back, let the hips sink. Find that sensation on the front of your left hip. And then palms come together. We take our left elbow outside the right knee or thigh. Press into the palms to lift the torso up as we look over our right shoulder. Hands come down, step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, raise the arms up and overhead, stretch. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And exhale, back down. We're going to step back with our left foot. Spin the heel flat. Come up into warrior two. Left hand on the left thigh, right arm up and over, reverse warrior. Be mindful of keeping that right outer hip really engaged. So don't let your right knee get lazy and drop in towards the big toe. Keep it pressing out. Come back up, warrior two. Right hand is going to go down outside right foot or ankle. Left hand to the ceiling. Come all the way back up, warrior two. Try and keep that right knee bent. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. See if you can fold right down the midline of the body. Relaxing the neck, starting to reach the arms up and overhead. Keep your fingers interlaced. Rotate towards your right foot. Let your right shoulder rest on your right thigh for a moment. Humble warrior. Move slowly for this transition. Swivel onto your left toes and come up, high lunge. Release the arms up. Hands to the mat, drop your left knee down. Walk your right foot over towards the left side of the mat and come into your first one-legged king pigeon. Left leg slides back until you feel this in your right glute. You're going to come onto the forearms if you can. If you have very flexible hips, you might flatten your torso out. Do what's best for you. We're here for a few breaths. One more breath here. And then bring your hands to the mat. What I'd like you to do is turn your left toes under. Shoot your right leg straight back for a three-legged dog. Bend the right knee. Roll your right hip bone open. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Put your right foot back down. Shift into plank and flow through your vinyasa. Remember, breath-centered, mindful movement. Make sure you're lengthening your spine in your down dog. And then let's take the left foot forward. Spin the right foot flat. Come up into warrior two. Again, just being really mindful of keeping that left outer hip engaged. We're going to take the right hand to the right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse your warrior. Come all the way back up, warrior two. Now we're going to take the left hand outside that left foot or ankle, right hand to the ceiling. Come back up in your warrior two. Try and keep that left knee bent. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. If possible, you're folding down the midline of the body. Just start to rotate your torso towards your left foot. Let your left shoulder rest on your left thigh, humble warrior. Slow transition here. Swivel onto your right toes. Rise up, high lunge. Release the arms up and overhead. Hands come down, right knee drops to the mat, left foot walks over to the right side, left knee drops so that you can come into one-legged king pigeon pose on your left. Once you feel the sensation in your left glute, come onto your forearms if possible, maybe flattening out. Remember, we're here for quite a few breaths. One more breath on this side. And then bring the hands to the mat. Turn your right toes under. If you can, just lift up and shoot your left leg straight back. Three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, roll your left hip bone open towards the ceiling and stretch. Left foot comes back down. Follow your breath through your vinyasa. After you've had a moment to stretch in your downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's separate the feet an appropriate amount for yogic squat. Heels are flat, preferably toes pointing forward. And just start to drop the hips. Remember, if you need to, you may support your weight on your thighs. You may support your weight by putting your hands on the floor. It is more important to have the heels flat and be higher up with your torso than to cheat and have your buns down and be on the toes. So take a couple of breaths here. And then on your next inhale, come all the way up. And as you exhale, feet together, palms together. So we're going to do two variations of a standing pigeon for our balance. We're going to do the easier one first. I'm going to have you stand on your right foot. Your left ankle will cross the right thigh just above the knee. It's going to flex, and the knee's going to press open. Your legs will kind of look like a figure four. Your arms reach up in the air. We keep the chest lifted. We start to poke our tailbone back. It's really important that we're reaching the hips back as we reach our torso and our arms forward. Right knee will start to bend. The idea is that you're kind of trying to lay your rib cage out over your left shin. Very much like pigeon. You should feel it in your left glute. Come back up, left foot releases down. Same thing on this side, you're gonna stand on your left foot. We're gonna bring the right ankle across the left thigh, just above the knee. Flex the ankle, press the knee out. Figure four legs. Arms overhead. Chest is lifted. Tailbone is reaching back. You wanna poke your hips back behind you as you reach your torso forward. Bending that left knee. Trying to lay your torso out over your right shin. Just like pigeon. Looking for sensation in the right glute. Come back up and put your right foot on the ground. Roll your shoulders back. All right, our second expression of this is a little different. You'll be standing on your right foot. However you need to get it, even if it means just grabbing your pants, I'd like you to grab your left foot or ankle. Flex it sharply and come back up to a vertical standing position. Then you're gonna open your left knee up to about a 90-degree angle and just gently start to pull that left foot towards your right armpit. So it's like a standing pigeon. Again, you should feel this in your left glute. Release your left foot down. Same thing, other side, stand on your left foot. However you need to get it, grab your right foot or right ankle, both hands. Flex your ankle. Lift your chest. It's helpful to come back up to vertical. And then open up the right knee to about 90 degrees. Everybody's a little different. Keep your ankle flexed, please. And start to pull that right foot towards your left armpit. Remember, we're just trying to find sensation. And release. Feet together, hands together. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. And exhale, back down. You may either walk or jump back to plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you rise up, and exhale as you press your hips back into downward facing dog. Raise your right leg straight behind you, three-legged dog. On your next exhale, you're going to swing your right leg underneath you with the knee bent. Slide that left leg back for King Pigeon again. But this time I'd like you to stay up on your hands. Take a breath. See if you can slide your leg back a little more. Breathe. And then we're going to work deeper into this pose in a slightly different way. So first, you're going to come onto your forearms. Now, everybody will be a little different and your body will self-adjust on the mat. But if you can, your left leg, that's the straight one that's behind you, excuse me, I want you to move it to the right. And then walk both elbows to the left. Take a breath. That should have intensified your pigeon. If you feel like you can, you're going to do it one more time. You're going to move your left leg a little more to the right. Take your elbows a little more to the left. So what's happening is you're actually rotating over your right leg. You should be feeling this pretty intently right now. Bring yourself back to the center. Get yourself realigned in the center. Adjust that right leg if you need to. And then I'd like you to come up onto your hands. I want you to see if you can take the hands off the ground. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Start to reach forward. As you lean out of your right leg, your right bun should still be off the ground slightly. We're loading the glute. Take one more breath. Hands down, downward facing dog, and stretch. And then follow your breath through a vinyasa. Left leg goes straight back. Three-legged dog. On your next exhale, swing it underneath you with the knee bent. Slide your right leg back. Bring back into pigeon on the left, but staying up on the hands. Hang out here for a breath. Come on to your forearms. Now, if you can, we're going to work the same way we did. This time your right leg, that back leg that's straight, you're going to move it to the left. And you're going to walk your forearms to the right. And if you can, you're going to move your right leg one more time to the left and take your forearms to the right again. So again, it's like you're kind of rotating around that stationary bent left leg. It should be a fairly intense stretch at this point. Bring your right leg and your forearms back to center. Readjust that left leg if you need to. Come back up onto your hands. Remember, your left buns should be slightly off the ground. See if you can take the hands off the ground. If you're able, you reach forward and lean forward slightly. You're loading your left glute. It should be rather exciting. Take one more breath. And then bring your hands down and go straight to downward facing dog and stretch. From here, shift forward into plank on an inhale, lower down on an exhale. Cobra or upward facing dog on an inhale and downward facing dog on your exhale. Really lengthen here. And then you can either walk or jump to a standing forward bend. While you're still leaning forward, take your feet wide to the edges of the mat again. Keep your heels flat. Drop into your second yogic squat. Notice if perhaps it's a little easier or different or not. Just observe. And then however it's easiest for you from your squat, release your buns to the ground, extend your legs, bring your hands right behind your backside, straighten the spine, activate your legs, align your head, take a moment and check in, Dandasana. So kind of the short version of what you should be doing here is asking yourself, how am I doing right now? Hopefully all is well with the body, the breath, the mind, the heart, and the energy. And then we're gonna keep the right leg straight. Bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh and lean out over your right leg. Take a couple of breaths. Come on up from that. Bring your left ankle on top of your right thigh, just above the knee. Flex the ankle. And be mindful of not having your foot outside your leg. So a lot of people like to cross their shin over their thigh. I'd like you to be really impeccable in your alignment today and actually put your ankle on top of your thigh. If you feel like your ankle bone is digging into the muscle on top of your thigh, then you're not quite positioned properly. You should be able to get that little cupped space between your ankle and the outside edge of your foot to cup the top of your muscle. So make sure that the sole of your left foot is absolutely even with the outside of your right thigh. Then lean forward over your right leg again. Keep your left ankle flexed. Come up from that, hands right behind you, pushing into the floor for a very straight spine. You're gonna bend your right knee and maybe scoot your bum up towards your right heel. Left ankle stays flexed. Heart is lifting and pushing forward. So you want a really straight spine. If you like, you're welcome to reach around and grab your right thigh and pull. But the idea is we're trying to pull length into our spine as well as get that left foot closer to the right armpit. You don't want to do it with a rounded spine. You want to do it with a straight spine. One more breath. And then we're simply going to walk the left foot over to the right. Not tuck the foot underneath the bum and come into stacked logs. So if your foot was aligned correctly when we went into this, stacked logs will be a lot easier. The sole of your left foot is even with the outside of your right knee or thigh. The sole of your right foot, which should be sharply flexed, is even with the outside of your left knee or thigh. And that right heel is not tucked up underneath you. If you look down, you should have a triangle of space from your groin to your shins, and your shins are stacked on top of each other. Now, if you're already in agony, you're just good right here. If you can, I'd like you to bring your forearms to the ground, perhaps in front of your shins. Maybe allow the torso to drape onto the shins and let the head come down towards the ground. Take a couple of breaths. Come back up. Here's what we're gonna do. Your bottom foot, your right foot, I want you to tuck it underneath you a little bit now. Let your left foot find the floor, so the whole sole of the left foot is flat, and we're gonna twist to the left. Lift your chest. Left hand is behind you. You're either hugging your left leg with your right arm, or if you can, that right elbow comes outside the left knee or thigh as you twist and look over your left shoulder. Unwind to the front again. Legs extend. Give them a little wiggle. And then we're going to keep the left leg straight. Bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Lean out of your left leg for a couple of breaths. Come on up from that. We're going to pick the right foot up and bring it on top of the left thigh, just above the knee. Ankle is flexed. Remember, your foot is not outside your leg. It's literally on top of. If you put your left hand on the sole of your right foot, it's perfectly even with the outside of your left knee or thigh. Lean out one more time. Remember that right ankle stays flexed. Come on up from that. Hands are going to go behind you. Push into the floor for that super straight spine. Bend your left knee. So if you need to, you can scooch up towards it. Keep the chest lifted, pressing forward. If you like, you can reach around and clasp that left shin. Right ankle stays flexed. Heart stays lifting. And we're kind of moving that right foot towards the left armpit. It's not like that's a goal, but that's just what's going on. So hands are back down if they haven't stayed there. And then what I'd like you to do is walk that left foot over. Remember, if you were lined up properly with your right foot, getting your left foot aligned should be pretty simple. Left ankle flexes, and it's going to be directly underneath and even with right knee and thigh. So your left foot's not tucked up underneath your bum yet. If you look down, you have a triangle of space between your legs, and your shins are vertically on top of each other. So you're either going to stay here with a straight spine, or if you feel like you can, you're going to start to lean forward and get your forearms to the floor in front of your shins. And if that goes well, you're welcome to just kind of drape forward over your shins like your forehead would go to the ground. And we're going to come on up from that. Now, finally, you can tuck your left foot up underneath your right thigh. Let your right foot slide on over so that it's flat outside your left knee or thigh. And we're going to take the right hand behind us and come into a twist to the right. Return to center, extend both legs out, give them a good wiggle. And then just like that, you get to roll onto your back, hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. From here, I'd like you to take your right thigh tightly over your left thigh, very tight crossing of the legs. Hug your knees in, flex your ankles if you feel like you can. Grab your feet or ankles, try and open the knees up to about a 90-degree angle, and apply a little bit of pressure to your feet. Take a couple of breaths here. This will be the final stretch for your right glute, right piriformis, right hip. Keep the thighs tightly crossed. If you're able, let go of your feet. Put your left foot back down on the mat. Center the mat if you can. Right arm opens out to the right. Let both crossed knees drop to the left. If that's too much for your back, you're welcome to uncross the legs. On your next inhale, bring your legs back up, uncross them, and give them a good squeeze. Then we go for the other side, so your left thigh tightly crosses the right thigh. Flex the ankles, hug the knees in. Maybe reach down and grab your feet or ankles, open the knees up to about a 90-degree angle, and pull a little bit on your feet. Last stretch for the left glute, left buttock, left hip. Keep your knees tightly crossed, but let go of the feet or ankles or knees. Put your right foot back down in the middle of the mat if you can. Left arm's going to open out to the left, and you're going to drop both knees to the right. Head turns to the left if that's okay. On your next inhale, you're going to bring the legs back up, uncross them, hug them in. Reach down, grab the outside edges of your feet or ankles and move around a little bit in happy baby. Obviously, today's emphasis was the hips and glutes. So You get to kind of see what you've accomplished with your practice today as you wiggle around in happy baby. Just notice how the hips are feeling. When you're ready, you can place your feet flat on the mat, ankles and knees together. Let's do a couple of those breath-centered hip rolls just to settle everything down. So this neutral position with the knees pointing straight up is your inhale. Your exhale is a small or large drop of the knees to one side. Your inhale is returning to center, and your exhale is a small or large drop of the knees to the opposite side. So we're just really slowly rolling the hips with each breath. The next time with the knees come to the center, allow them to drop open and let the soles of the feet touch each other. The next time you breathe in, just press your lumbar spine, your low back into the mat. So it's a posterior tilt of the pelvis. You're just taking the curve out of the spine, basically. On your next exhale, you're going to allow that natural arch in the back to return. You're just relaxing your muscles. And then one more time as you inhale, you press your low back into the mat. And then you exhale and release. Begin to extend your legs. Play with whether they want to be closer together or farther apart. Decide where the legs need to be, and then kind of wiggle them a little bit from the thigh and hip, so internal, external rotation, and then simply let them flop. Make sure that your glutes, your buttocks, are relaxed and somewhat spread across the mat, that your spine feels really long, that you have space between your shoulder blades, that your hands are somewhere below the height of your heart, with your palms facing up towards the ceiling. Make sure there's length in your neck. Relax your jaw, let a little bit of space come between the teeth. Gently close your eyes and soften all the muscles in your face. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And just allow yourself to really sink into your Shavasana today. Feel your body relaxing and softening. Feel your breath growing quieter, shallower. Feel your thoughts kind of fading into the background. Today for your Shavasana, I just simply want you to try to remain present. Sounds simple enough, can be incredibly challenging. Your mind truly is just a database of the past. It only knows what it's already experienced. So it's either going to take you back to something that's happened in the past, or it's going to try and use that information to imagine some future, which of course is not based at all in reality. It's only based on past experiences. So neither of those really has any value right now. In this moment right now, the true value exists in this moment right now. So stay present with the sensations in your body. Anchor yourself to your breath. You can certainly be aware of your external environment too, but no thinking, no judging, no analyzing. You're just aware right now for the next few minutes. Your plan, your challenge is to exist fully in pure awareness in the present moment. Most likely at some point, your mind will score a point and have you looking backwards or forwards. And if that happens, it's okay. It is what happens. We simply recognize that our mind has locked on to a past or future point, and we gently bring it back to the present, to this moment. Begin to move your fingers and toes a little bit. Begin to deepen your breath. When you're ready, take that deeper inhale. Extend the fingers, spread the toes. Exhale with a soft sigh. Relax the fingers and the toes. Take another deep breath in and just fully extend your body. Stretch. Stretch in a way that feels really, really good. And then exhale with another sigh as you relax. Bending the knees, hugging them in if that feels good, or just letting your feet be flat on the mat for a moment. When you're ready, you'll roll to your right side. And then use your left hand in front of your chest and press up to sitting. So as you come to sitting, I'd like you to find that same straight, steady, comfortable seat that you had at the beginning of class. And then hands can rest on knees or thighs or in the lap, doesn't matter. We're gonna do just another awareness style of pranayama today. So you're actually not gonna control your breath at all. But I'm going to give you some points to watch it at. Again, this is just simply an exercise in staying fully present. So if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Just let your breathing do what it does. I don't want you to try and control your breath at all. But as you're breathing, I want you to notice how the breath feels in the nostrils and the sinuses. Notice as you inhale, it kind of moves up towards that third eye point between your eyebrows. Maybe notice it at the crown of the head and also in the heart, how the heart expands. And you'll notice that same level of sensation in all of those points as you exhale, your heart, the crown of the head, the third eye point, and the nostrils and sinuses. So just kind of noticing that when you breathe in, feel the air in your nostrils, and it's just a gentle breath. You're not controlling it. You kind of are aware of the crown of the head. You feel your chest expand. When you breathe out, you feel your chest contract. You're kind of aware of the crown of the head and the third eye point, and you feel warm air exiting your nostrils. That's it. Very relaxed, natural breathing, but pure focus and awareness. And just take this opportunity to check in with how you feel. How does your body feel? Is it easier to sit in a steady, comfortable seat after your hip work in the physical practice, the asana practice? Is it easier to focus on your breath since you practiced pure awareness during Shavasana? Notice your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. And then bring the palms together in front of the heart. Take a moment in gratitude that you have the capacity to control your mind somewhat, to continue to train it to stay in the present moment, that you can in fact catch your mind as it moves towards the future or back into the past, and you can bring it back to center, back to the present moment. The skill of learning to watch our thoughts and begin to exert a certain amount of control over our mind is the key to controlling all of our emotions and our experience of life. Your thoughts create your emotions. And if you can be discerning enough to realize that ruminations on the past and projections into the future are where our suffering comes from, then you can choose to come back to the present moment and rest in the present moment and find a certain state of calm and peace and perhaps even joy. So just taking a moment to truly feel grateful for that awareness, that discernment. Take one more huge inhale. Exhale with a happy sigh. And then bring the palms together at your forehead, just as a reminder to be in the present moment, to stay in the present moment, to recognize that this is where life happens. Bring your palms together in front of your mouth. Let this be a reminder to speak your truth. And bring your palms together in front of your heart. Let this be a reminder that it's really all about love, that we should keep our hearts wide open so that we can always practice and experience kindness and compassion. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Namaste.